Hello players and welcome to Settlers of Catan. In this game you are playing as a foreign settler settling on the land of Catan and trying to establish the strongest kingdom against your adversaries. To start the game, first set up the board by putting all the matching corner pieces together. The numbers will match up. After that, you'll start placing all of the resource tiles. Start some at one spot on the side and go in a circular motion. After that, grab your number pieces. All these pieces will have a letter at the top. They start at A and go all the way to R. Place them in alphabetical order, going again in a circular fashion. Lastly, place the thief piece on the desert tile. We'll come back to that later. To start off, everybody will get a pile of roads, settlements, and cities. You will also get a building cost card that shows you how much everything costs and what resources you need in order to build. The three different pieces that you'll get will be the city card, or the city piece, the settlement piece, and the road piece. There are 5 resource cards that one player can get during the game. They are rock, clay, wheat, sheep, and wood. As you can see, we have all of the corresponding tiles listed or placed below the card. Another card that you can get during the game is the development card. This is obtained by getting the corresponding resources that are at the bottom of the building cost card. There are different types of development cards that one can get throughout the game. A few examples are the knight card, the building card which gives you a victory point, a monopoly card which allows you to take all of one resource from all of your opponents, a road building card that allows you to build 2 roads freely, and a Year of Plenty card that allows you to take any 2 resources from the bank and add them to your hand. We are now ready to begin the game. Player 1 starts by placing a settlement piece and a road piece any place on the map. Next, player 2 does the same thing. If there are more players, the same will continue. After everybody has placed their first town and road, the last player to go places again. Followed all the way back until the first player places his second settlement and road. Remember when you are placing that it is illegal to put a settlement or city within one line space of one of your settlements or cities or one of your opponent's settlements or cities. After each player has placed their first settlements and roads, they are allowed to pick up the corresponding cards for the tiles with which their settlements are touching. For example, green player gets these cards. To start off, player 1 rolls the dice. Because he got an 8, he is allowed to pick up a clay. Also during his turn, he is allowed to make as many builds as he wishes. This turn, he decides to build a road because he has a clay and a wood. Play continues as such with every player rolling and players picking up the corresponding rolled tiles. As you play, players will collect the corresponding resources needed to expand their empire. Shown here, player 2 gets the needed resources for his settlement and expands so that way he can get more sheep, wheat, and stone. Player 1 just rolled a 7. This means that the thief comes into play. The thief is taken by the player that rolls a 7 and is moved to a tile of another player's. By doing this, that resource is now not able to be taken, and player 1 will now get to take a card from player 2. Also, when a 7 is rolled, any player that has 8 or more cards must get rid of half of them. If you have an odd number, you round down. Player 2 has just added his 5th road. This means that as long as nobody else has already done so, he gets the longest road card. It gives you 2 victory points. He gets to keep this card until somebody else manages to make a longer road than his. If you have 4 of the same exact resource and have no need for it, you are allowed to trade all of them in for one of a different resource. When looking at the board, you will notice that there are many ships in the harbors of the island. Each ship allows you, if you build a settlement or city next to it, to trade in a lesser amount of resources for any resource. So instead of trading in 4 wood here, you are allowed to trade in only 2. For the ships that have question marks on them, you are allowed to turn in 3 of any resource for 1 of any other resource. Continue playing the game and accumulate as many victory points as possible. This again can be done by building cities, building settlements, accumulating 3 knights to get the largest army, or building the longest road. You can also get them by getting development cards that give you free victory points. As we can see here, player 2 is turning in all the required resources to upgrade one of his settlements to a city. By doing so, he has accumulated 10 points by getting 2 settlements, 2 cities, and also having the longest road and largest army. Congratulations, player 2. If you have any further questions, just consult the game manual. It has answers to any questions you could have.